Hello, and welcome back to Factorio Space Age. We are working on a mobile space platform for doing mobile factory stuff as kind of a short break from Aquilo. We'll be back to Aquilo in a moment, but we will have all sorts of extra resources from the space platform to work with if we want them. Yay! And this is the episode where I'm going to add all of those resources we want to make here. So, as mentioned, I paused and let the game progress until we were basically stable. And I made some changes and found some problems and adjusted for them. You'll notice all these numbers look really good. First of all, I added the display of the water, fuel, and oxidizer levels. So those are currently full. Notice the oxidizer and the fuel are monitoring the contents of 2 tanks. Those are made available to the hub. I added display of the nuclear fuel in the hub, plus the temperature of the reactors and the amount of steam we have on hand. So at a glance here, I can check and make sure my reactors are doing okay. I believe this may have been relocated. Okay, so we had a series of problems. First of all, the inner sushi belt display for iron and copper was always the same. So iron ore and copper, these two numbers were going up and down together. It's because this guy was configured to display copper. This guy was also displaying copper, and apparently I didn't save that fix. Boom. Copper, coal, and so on. Chances of these being exactly identical are, well, when they're up to high like this, it's not too bad. But when they were down to like 244 and 268 and so on, that was kind of a red flag. But now that's fixed. Apparently I didn't save that fix. Okay, next problem. We had a ton of metallic chunks on our outer sushi belt, and few others. And the recyclers weren't going. Well, with a ton of metallic chunks, we should have been running this. Okay? It turns out that our problem here was that the combinator here was set to input count rather than 1. So what happened was, instead of outputting 1 metallic asteroid reprocessing, it was outputting 0, because 0 was what we had on our input. So turned that on, and we started recycling all those metallic asteroids we'd built up in excess of the other ones. That actually was fairly later, at the point where we had basically got enough copper and iron ore to be happy. I'm noticing iron ore on the right and copper on the left, and that is correct. Good. Okay, problem. The hub's grabbing all of the mats. So these were set up to monitor our hub inventory directly, and if we had less than the amount in the hub, they would grab. Well, that meant that basically we were stripping this materials belt of all the materials at this point. So, you know, if a crusher output got produced here and it wasn't consumed the first time it came through, it'd end up in the hub. So I changed that. These are now coming from a combinator, which is basically saying, on red, we're going to be monitoring the quantities on the belt. And on green, we've got our central hub inventory. So what we're saying is, if we have at least 250, well, let's do greater than or equal to. If we've got at least 250 on the belt, and we don't have 1,975 in the hub, then we're going to send a signal with that each, with a value of 1. Boom. So we're only going to move it when we've got enough on the belt to keep ourselves happy, and there isn't a full load here. This does mean that I am now locked into having the same number of stock items, 1.9K for each one of these. I think that's okay. I think these guys all stack to 50. So you notice that all of our stock numbers here, these are all like 4 stacks, plus or minus. I've used 1975 rather than 2000 because we're going to jitter above and below that little mark. I didn't really want to go over. When you're jittering around, it causes this display to jump around on me, and I don't like that. Okay, problem. Outer Sushi Belt is overcrowded due to all of the above. With all the above happening, we ended up with filter. The filter line first. Grabber filter line is seeing Outer Sushi Belt inventory. So this line is supposed to have a 1 on it for each thing we want. This green line here. Turns out that in one place, way over here, this green line, I think it was here, or might have been up there. I think it was here. Anyway, one of these places, the belt got reconfigured as we pasted these in. I'm pretty sure it was this one, to read all the belt, causing us to read everything on the belt onto the green line, causing us to turn these on. Why are we? I think we got another problem here. Why are we currently having everybody? So we're saying 300. We should be outputting nothing. I think we have another problem here. I think somehow our green wire has once again gotten messed up. Let's take a look with a combinator. Oh, wait a minute. I can just look at this and poke it there. Yeah, once again, our inventory from the belt has appeared on the green wire. Okay, we're gonna have to go down and fix this. Apparently, some of the fixes I did, I fixed it and then I reloaded from an earlier save because I didn't want to have too much time go by in the game. So we are looking for one of these things that has a green wire attached and has a little red thingy going back and forth. And it's going to be hard to see. The other way to do this is to pick up the way I originally fixed it. I went through and I picked up the entire green wire along its entire length. And if I don't actually see the little red scanner at any point here, I will have to... Oh, there it is. Do not read all belt contents. There we go. And we are back to the proper. So at this point, so what was happening there was we were getting every asteroid that came within range, and it was going on the outer belt. But that leads into this guy right here. So these guys now say if we have more than 350 of anything on the belt, we are going to grab with these inserters that thing and toss it overboard. And again, what happened here was I had originally had these over here leading to belts, leading to inserters dumping out, and then I carved out a chunk, and then I moved it, and when I moved it, I had to change the green connections, and of course, this guy was configured to read all belts, so when we connected you to here, the belt configuration, if you disconnect the wire, the belt configuration remembers what it's configured to do with the wire. Okay. Next one. Inner sushi belt is pretty crowded. Use stack inserters to restack the materials. So even with the proper quantities, this belt ends up looking pretty congested, which means when we're trying to put something on the belt, we have to wait for a gap. We can restack them. So I have one inserter for each thing on the belt, and we wait until we see some, and then we're going to grab a whole stack of it and toss it out here where it's going to be full-size stacks. You can see the copper going by. I'm going to slow this down so you can see that copper go out as stacks. And it'll be the maximum size stacks for our technology, as many of them as we can get in our hand, followed by one stack that might be short. And currently these guys have a stack size of 16 in the hand, which means if it's 4 out here, it means we're going to pick up 16 of them and put out 4 stacks of 4. That'll take up less space on the bus, which means somebody else putting something onto the bus won't have to wait as long to find a gap. Much better. We do it on the right-hand side for the things that are on the right-hand side of the bus, of the belt. The left-hand side for these guys, and there we have it. And there were a number of options I had for how to do this. This one turned out to be fairly compact. And that's done with that. And as I got the fixes in place, I would then let the whole thing just rest for a while until the quantities floated up. And we had to rest long enough to fill up the hub. These basically went up to the level at which we were putting things into the hub, and then they held there. Once we got things into the hub, then it went further on up to the maximum level that we were willing to keep. Actually, maximum level these guys could put out. So for instance, this says if we have less than 300, do it. So it would be 300 plus 1 swing. The ones that are significantly higher, for instance, if we need more calcite, we are going to get more ice. If we need more sulfur, we're going to get more of this. So basically on these pairs, the first one will get extra, which will get discarded if we're trying to get the second one up. That's the advanced recipe. Anyway, so numbers floated up, and they held for a while, and we filled up this guy, and they floated up the rest of the way, and they held for a while. Our fuel and oxidizer started going up when we had enough calcite that they could run, so calcite and water. And of course, the reactor has just been going through its normal cycle, where this temperature will slowly go down, and once it hits its lower threshold, we will dump a couple of fuel in, and the temperature will go back up. The steam never really starts to go down here. What's happening is we're actually maintaining our temperature above 500 C at all times. So that's good. We're wasting a little bit of fuel. Admittedly, what we could do is not put fuel in until the amount of steam is low. Okay, that's the other thing we can do here. Basically saying if we need steam and the reactor doesn't have fuel, then put something in the reactors. But that risks us getting to a stage where we have the steam being used for power and it crosses the threshold. Let's say we have 5,000 steam left and we start the reactors warming up. We continue to lose steam, turning steam into power, until those reactors get hotter than 500 C, and that can take a while. So if you do your reactors based on the amount of steam, and you have that threshold set too low, you can end up losing power temporarily while the reactors are still warming up. That's really bad. So you can either very carefully tune it so that at maximum load of the system you still get the steam back up, or you can accept the power loss, or you can do like what I've done here. If we look at this, what is our consumption rate on uranium fuel cells over the course of 10 hours? 8 and 10 hours. Wow. So basically less than 1 uranium fuel cell per hour is what we're burning. Where actually this isn't a fair check because we don't have all of our manufacturing going yet. Now, One thing to note is that while we are just sitting here above Novice, occasionally I have been hearing rockets go off, sending stuff down to Novice. Well, what's going down to Novice? Turns out, Novice is a net consumer of calcite. So occasionally it starts needing calcite. And we have a calcite courier somewhere, Calcite Express. So it's this guy's job to send down calcite and go get more when it has more. But I don't think there's any notion of priority here. So if Novice needs calcite and we're in orbit, it may get from us, but that's perfectly okay. We are turning out calcite in decent quantities. Now, I could look at rates here, but it's not going to be fair because we have stopped crushing and stopped fetching based on the fact that we are done. Well, we could look at long-term rates. Let's see, calcite. It's like we get short bursts of a whole ton of it. And in here, it looks like this plateau level we hit is about 15 a minute. So that should be good. We'll see what we get later on when we start really going. It's interesting to get numbers for how fast we can get each one of these in orbit around each planet and how much we get based on where we are. Before we get to going further, let's dive into that a little more. Let's take a look at our space route from Gleba to Aquilo. Basically, when you start out here, you're getting mostly carbonic asteroid chunks and medium carbonic asteroids. This is all near Gleba. Low levels of everything. As you make the transit out, you're heading towards 12K out of the 30K. And oxide chunks kind of go into the lead. And then at some point, we get big oxide asteroids coming in. So heading out towards Aquilo, we get lots and lots more oxide than we had before. Oxide used to be way down there. That's great. And everything else kind of tapers off as we head towards Aquilo. And at Aquilo, we're low again. So it's this just a bit away from Aquilo where we get the most oxide. Oxide is what gets us our calcite. So if we wanted to build a calcite cruiser, having it head out to Aquilo and back is really great. You just need to be armed enough to take care of things. In our early runs, here's our Novice to Vulcanus. So heading away from Novice, we hit a peak here. Around Novice, we're mostly metallic, as we noticed earlier. Some carbonic, low oxide. We hit a peak here, and then everything kind of goes down, and we start getting the medium asteroids. So right here near Novice, there are no medium asteroids to speak of. Okay. So in orbit around Novice, you can survive without guns. But once you get 1.5K away, you start getting medium asteroids. And we're mostly metallic in this neighborhood. So to really get a mix of materials, what you want to do is have your platform migrating from one planet to another and mostly picking up resources in the middle. And that's why this is so big. Because I want this factory to have a tremendous load of materials. Okay, so we can download, 2,000 copper ore and 2,000 iron ore onto Gleba because we don't want to build bacterial farms this time around. Or have plenty of calcite available because that's the only source is going to be orbital calcite. Calcite is probably going to be our number one thing. I may do a variant platform, which is a smaller platform with wings. All it does is gather calcite. Possibly better than spending the resources to lift it from Vulcanus' surface. Okay. Now let's see. I have a to-do list item. Somebody commented on the previous video. You do know that you can make Holmium plate in foundries, right? Yeah, I knew that. And it never really occurred to me while I was working on Fulgora that I should be doing that because I'm an idiot sometimes. So before we do anything else, what I want to do is I want to replace this little doohickey here with foundries. I want to update my Fulgora. Right now we are at steady state. Things aren't moving at all. Everything's backed up. Well, let's grab the foundries and do this. If I want to put it output on the same lines, okay, we'd have to be there. That would get us outputting here. I think what I'm going to do is point it that way. So we're going to have to take this off. And we're going to have to lace the lace this stuff in through here. Yeah. Why did I have these set up with speed? These need to be prod modules in the for the Holmium. Okay, there's the second bug. These need to be prod module for Holmium. Okay, let's do this. Upgrades and miscellaneous productivity modules. You guys and you. Just like that. That will happen when it happens. I am going to pick up all of this. I am going to need something there. Roughly, let's do this. Okay, let's get power to these guys again. Now, by going to prod, what I've done is I've reduced our peak output of Holmium fluid, Holmium solution. But I have also increased how much I can produce from a given input of Holmium ore, which is really what we need. Secondly, do I want to start thinking about using stack inserters for these guys? I think that would be a really good idea to convert to stack inserters. So we're going to convert from, I'm going to use a upgrade planner for this. We're not going to do all of them. I'm going to do the ones that take out of the thingy. So let's do the whole thing. Let's do the inputs as well. Let's do the whole thing. There. So all of the inserters in this array. Because of the way I have done this with the stack inserters, the chances of anything getting past this are pretty low. Okay? So how do we fix that? And why are these all empty? Oh, because, okay, as I put things in here, it's being picked up and brought over to here into the buffer chests. And if we have excess, it's taken out of the buffer chests and sent out to our recyclers. Okay, so it's steady state, we're good. Come on, Fulgora, there we go. But I think I can refine this a bit. Rather than picking up stuff from here and sending it by express the other ways, what I can do, let me think. I may be making a mistake here if I do this. Let me think this out. If I set up each one of these to only move materials when there's less than a certain quantity of those materials in the logistics area, What that means is that once the logistics area has filled up, everything that needs to be recycled flows on through. And that would be wizard if we had a recycler that accepted belts input. So what I'm going to say is we're not going to do this yet. I need to rework the recycler here so that the first 12 gets captured in the logistics network with a slightly leaky capture. Notice we've got some coming in now. Apparently we need something. What is it that we need? I want to see this. We need one thing. Okay, apparently we used some copper plate. So now we do a little bit of recycling, and we let the recyclers go until somebody coughs up some copper plate for us. This is fine. Oh, it's probably because we made some stack inserters. Okay. Back to what we were doing here. Apparently we don't have any foundries. We don't have any foundries on Fulgora. Well, that was foolish of me to put this in place without checking that first. I want to take a look at the Fulgora trader. No, we don't have a Fulgora trader anymore, do we? So this guy, we want to look at the Fulgora import direct. I want to add, where to go here? Foundries. Now, we should have some foundries for somebody else. That's fine. Now, we're not going to see anything until this guy gets to Fulgora. But once it gets there, we'll have this. So we're going to put these in. And here's what this looks like. And we have output. Like I said, I'm going to start using the stack inserters in a lot of places here. This is a good place to use them. You are outputting stacks of Holmium plate. How much of this do we want? We had 6 of the other guys, so this is the same quantity output. Okay. I could go longer. That cuts into this. This is only recharging stuff. He didn't have any charge going. Boom. What's going on here? I want this to be just like that. Okay. So we're going to end up putting out the same amount of output. Well, after the conversion from speed modules back to productivity modules, I guess I was in a hurry. I seem to remember that last time I was out here working on Holmium, I was in a terrible hurry because I absolutely needed to get this stuff going. And I needed Holmium like crazy. At this point, if we need Holmium, we're out of luck. So that didn't do it. Just jam a random one in there. I'm using the substations here because I know I have them handy. So Mark II interplanets. Apparently the name on this one is wrong. So we're going to call this Planet Express. Keeping it, can I call it Planet Express totally? There we go. We'll see if I can get the destination planet on there. So you are waiting on picking up that stuff. We should be picking up the white inserters from where they come from, right? Hold on. Pause thrust. Let's find out who wants them here. We're going to take it off. I'm going to put it back on. We need 100 of them. And they actually come from Gleba. We're in orbit around Novice. We don't want to be picking up our white inserters from Novice. We want to deliver them to Novice from Gleba. So we have Novice import. These guys from Gleba. Got it. I've got all these set to import direct. Oh, this guy needs to be import direct as well. Is there a Vulcanus import direct that I set up? Nope. So the idea of the direct ones is it says we're importing directly from the original source planet. So these need to be these need to be Fulgora. Got it. I think everything else is good. What I'm gonna do is have inserters everywhere. So everybody's going to be getting some white inserters. Oh, wait a minute. Gleba already has. You want some. You want some. There we go. Back to automatic. So your schedule will take us to Gleba, then Fulgora. Back to Fulgora. Let's come back and look at this later. I'm going to leave the to-do item up there, just to remind me that we do need to come back here and look at this and make sure it's working. And that should be everything we want. Is there any place else I want to shift over to stack inserters? We've done that whole thing there. Obviously, anywhere we output stuff is a candidate for these guys. Let's think about this. We can also change blue guys into stack inserters. And that's going to be good. So any of these that are outputs, I can say, make you a stack inserter. Obviously, I can't do it here. Oh, what I can do here is I can say, after we've gone through all of this stuff, I can grab you guys, use filters, refined concrete. Okay, what that will do is it will pick up all of that refined concrete in big handfuls and turn it back into full stacks. And I could probably do the same thing for Holmium, but I don't really need to. And the full stacks will make their way down. Yeah, let's do it for Holmium just because. Use filters, Holmium plate. I'm trying to learn to not scrub my mouse cursor around so much while I'm looking for things with my eyes. By reflex, my mouse cursor follows where my eye is going. Just, decades of practice, habit. Okay, there's that. Any other output onto belt where I want to do this? Yeah, probably quite a lot of it. I'm going to do it here. And we'll do it here. Oops, no, those are inputs, not outputs. Our outputs are on long-handled inserters, so they're not going to stack. Okay. Let's grab this. I'm going to make this into a blueprint. That's my restacker. So we're not going to have much in the way of holmium if we do this. Okay, so this guy, I am going to restack these guys after we peeled him. This is superconductors, and this is supercapacitors. And I think that's everything that I can really benefit from. No real benefit on that. I'm just doing it because I'm doing it, right? Mostly I'm just kind of hanging around here as I'm really hoping to be able to see this do the right thing. The Planet Express is on its way to Gleba. Okay. So let's go look at our mobile factory. Got all this stuff that we want to build up. We've got ammunition. This is going to require iron coming from the hub and explosives coming from over here. These two guys go back out to the hub. What I'm thinking is put them that kind of an offset, and we have two belts here. I'm going to put you guys all the way out to the right. Okay. So the iron is going to come over and out this way. So you take iron, and there's your rates. 5 iron per second goes up. This guy takes smaller rates going down. So this is going to be iron coming over, and we are going to be joining up with the other ingredient coming from below. So the explosives are going to come from below. These smelters are probably going to be down here somewhere. I don't know. Actually, it'd be wizard to have the ammo down here, but I don't have the right lines for this. Ooh, wait a minute. Yeah, let's put it down here. Why not? We haven't committed to anything yet. Okay, here's the idea. There's our output. There's our iron inputs. Let's filter these for iron plate. Okay, and this guy has long inserters. He's got 2 separate inputs. I'm going to put them on the same guy here. There's our outputs. And I will use thermal blue inserters for outputs here. Now, this is actually 2 distinct inputs. You are going to... Oh, wait a minute. You're going to need to be iron out and something else in. Got it. Let's do this. Filter iron plate. You are not a stack inserter. I'm going to use a stack inserter for this. Okay, so you're going to be moving iron plates in stacks. Do we have any? We don't. We have white inserters. Why is this not? This should be dumping things out. Oh, because we don't have iron plates in here yet. That's right. The smelter is going to be turning out the iron plate. More importantly, do I want to take the iron plates from the mobile factory? Ah, there's the question. Do I want to take the iron plates from the mobile factory, knowing that somebody might request all of them out, or do I want to have the iron plates coming directly from foundries? I think I need the iron plates coming directly from foundries for this. So you are not doing that. We're going to defer this. The iron's going to have to come from these guys. So what have we got here? We have a whole bunch of melt this thing to give me that thing. I've just lined them up in order here, not really thinking about it. As it turns out, I can just take this whole thing and stomp it down here. Just like that. And what I'm gonna do, I'm going to have pairs of these items. 2 of those. And we're going to have blue inserters bringing us calcite. Actually, let's... one doing calcite and one doing copper. We'll grab full stacks. Except you are not... You are grabbing copper. Okay. We again have a iron above, copper below. Copper and copper. Iron, iron, iron. Let's get all of these melters going. And what we should see is immediately a dip in the number of ore. And the one thing I forgot was that I could group these. In fact, that's probably a really good idea. Let's group them by what they're melting. Okay, if we put all the iron guys together, like that, what I can do is step them away from each other a little bit, bring this out to here, and have a fluid tank out there that has molten iron in it. We can monitor the molten iron on our inventory. So this green wire is our inventory wire, right? Yep. So, green wire to you. Gonna do the same thing with copper. Bring everything out to here. Step you guys to the back one and put a tank down here. So we are forging steel and iron plate. We're also forging copper plate and copper coils. That sounds like two distinct belts of input. We can use one of these for each on input. And then we've got green chips, which can hang off those two belts. Per second. We need 4 per second of each kind of plate. Oh, and what's our intermediate is 12 per second. These have to be direct insert. The output rate on each one of these is too high for anything but a stack inserter or a bulk inserter. So we're going to do stack inserters on all of these. There's our products 1. Are you all going the right direction? I swiped over you. Yes, you are. And you are moving in iron and steel. Oh, and what do we do about limits? Oh, I know what to do. Okay, these guys are going to have their own little private melters. So we're going to need to take this and move it down far enough that we can bring these out like this. The other way I could do this would be to put the, hey, I could put the tanks in here. Tank down at the bottom. Yeah. Liking this better already. From here to here. All the way up at the top. These guys right here, you are only going to run if we need to put more into stock. So, enable if the stock in the, like that. So, if we have less than 1,975 steel in the hub, we're going to make steel out of these guys. And this guy is the same thing, but you are making iron plate. Okay. Yeah, if you change the recipe, it leaves the old stuff you produced in there. You have to pick it out. Okay. So these guys are producing their stuff if and only if it's needed over here. And if it's not needed, then they will not produce. And you should have... Oh, you're actually 3.4 extra machines, so we will be producing extras. Okay. There's you. I put you in here. But it's our copper and our iron, and they happen to be adjacent. I will deal with that downstream. And hook up the green wire. That, so we have quantities. Now, on the long term, if I believe that this inner belt is staying well stacked, I can increase my quantities on the inner belt. Some of this stuff, however, is not staying very well stacked. I do not want to put a splitter in, because if you have a belt like this, and you are reading the entire quantity, let's put a wire in here. You are reading the whole belt here. And we put in a splitter, it doesn't read anything in the splitter or past the splitter. So if we use splitters to do the restacking, we wouldn't be seeing anything in the restacking area, and if we had another splitter down further, it would start carving the belt off. So no splitters. I really wish I could have the hand only pick up non-stacked things, so basically let full stacks go by, but I'm not sure how to let full stacks go by. I don't think you can do that. Okay, this guy is putting full stacks at a time. So originally the items are coming out stacked. So these three should mostly see full stacks already. As we consume, it will consume some of them, unless we use stack inserters to pick it up, in which case it should generally pick up whole stacks. Anyway, there we go. Now, these guys, again, we want to do something similar here. We want to do you, and you, like this. So plates coming down here, coils are coming out here. And you are facing this way. Use filters. We are moving copper plate, and we are moving copper coils. And your conditions are enable if copper plate is less than 1875. We're going to use separate so we don't end up with a copper plate on that side of the belt. Copper coils. So we should now see copper plate and copper coils all the way out to here. Okay, we're pulling full stacks. Now, we have a problem in that we're not pulling them fast enough. I am going to rework this. We have 4 items coming in on this wall. Okay, so we are going to be, outward priority to the right is steel. priority to the left is copper coils. This allows me to make best use of stack inserters. Looks like we are having to request more belts. Yes. Need more belts. Oh, and we're probably importing the belts from the wrong place, aren't we? Yeah. You do need to get your belts from Novice at this time. Because we are not going to go out to Vulcanus to do the build. We can't move until we've done the build. Holy smoke, did it? Just... yeah, it did. Almost 2,000 of each now. We can increase the quantities here if we want to. I probably should have a bank of combinators indicating how much of each item we want and working out whether we want to be building more of them for stock or not. One way of doing that would be on the green wire to impose a negative of our desired amounts and have everybody just say, if it's negative, then do something. I will be thinking about that some more. So now, when we want to make the green chips, I need to do some copper plate. And I need to do some iron plate. Since I decided I was going to go with that solution. Okay, and then these need to do direct insert into my two machines. Does that reach that? Does not quite reach. Okay, so you create you, create you, you create you, and we're going to have green chips coming out here. And it's going to have to go in this lane somewhere. I could put this on the same return lane as this guy. Yeah, let's do that. So you're going to be taking in those, and you're also going to be taking in those. You are not conditional, even though you have a wire. You are conditional on green chips less than 1,950. We're going to be, we're going to be adjusting quantities here on things that stack bigger. And you are outputting green chips at a maximum rate of 6 per second or 360 per minute. And given it's coming in stacks and you are going to be a stack inserter, you're going to be fine. Okay, filters. Now we're not actually hitting production rates where we need the stack inserters here, but I thought it would be good to have them. I could be wrong. In fact, I am wrong. For these guys, it really is better just to use bulk inserters. Yeah. These don't need to be hanging out waiting for more input before they put into the hub. It's taking out and putting it. It's when you put on the belts where the stacking is important. The wires are available. We're just going to do that. We are making copper. You are making copper cable. You are moving copper cable. You are a green inserter, not a stack inserter. You are moving. We're probably stuffed up because this stack inserter couldn't fill the stack of iron plate. And now we are just waiting on more molten iron. Molten iron is sitting here waiting on more iron ore. And yeah, there's my folly there. Let's go back to bulk inserters for these guys. So if we have a partial stack, we'll use a partial stack. Okay, outputs. You are doing copper coils. Okay, now the melting is going to be slow, especially here around Novice, because we're only getting so much in the way of stuff here. So how are we doing for stock size? We have plenty of space for stock. I am going to double the iron plate. And actually iron plate, steel plate, copper plate, copper coils I can quadruple. Okay, so steel plate, instead of that, it's going to be $39.75. Ditto there. Coils, instead of that, it's going to be 7. We're going to have a ton of coils available. Okay, there's that. And these guys also quadruple to nearly 8,000. Like that. So Alt-X over this whole thing gives us that. Now, there we go. That's why we had no iron. Now, these guys also need iron plate. This is not quite enough iron plate for him. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have more iron plate coming. I'm not gonna try to max him out. But I do need to get molten iron. Oh, I should put the copper on top of it. I was thinking about that in advance. I could bring molten. Oh, I could bring molten iron down here. Actually, that's not bad. We are making this. Just bring you in. I'm going to put you with a little bit of a gap. So, iron plates, these normally come out at 225 per minute. And the total iron plates I need for this is, holy smoke, 2,000 iron plates per minute. Those three together, I need like 6 of these guys. I mean, yikes. Yikes. Okay, so 5 of them is 7,500. These guys need... Okay, so, speed modules. $360. So 360 a minute, and that's not too bad. It's a good balance. Hold on, I need to take off the condition here. What if I go completely speed moduled? You are now using up 8.5 megawatts. And I'm currently capable of 46.5. Well, it depends on how fast you move. This is going to be producing 495. So I can do... I would need to do 5 of these. Four of them wouldn't be enough. Okay, well, if I want these to be able to run flat out, which I sometimes need to be able to do, I would need 5 of them. I'm going to do 4 of them. Okay, things are going to get a little tight here. So let's make sure I've got space to do these guys. We need water in. This guy needs things. This guy will need coal from below. Oh, all right, sorry. The coal is direct insert. Let's set those up. The coal rates are 2.5. I can do this with blue inserters. And the coal output is 0.5 per second. Is that right? Okay, so we are producing 1 explosive per second, so on those 2 machines. Go back to per second here. Coal is net 0. Okay. Coal output from 1 guy. So really, we're looking at modest assemblers for all of this. So this is coal. These are explosives. Let's pick that up from here. Okay, explosives. We're going to need to bring water over to the right, so these guys can get water. That's okay. The alternative is try to put it on the left. We don't have space here unless we want to move our rocket turrets, which I'd rather not do. Or we could put some explosives here and some explosives there. You know, We have some alternatives. I'm just going to put it to the right, and I'm going to have the fuel do the other thing. We are going to be building this with water no matter how much or how little water we have. I'm going to bring it from here. That. You actually go down here. And take the coal off of the ones that are inputting coal. Because coal doesn't appear on that sushi belt. And all of my explosives need to come together and go over to this guy. I'm going to put the explosives on a... No, I'm not. I was thinking of putting on a long-handled inserter. I realized I can just jump over that whole thing. That works. Okay. Now this guy... So all of my explosives will go on the lower side of this. And how fast are my outputs? 8.25 per second. Holy smoke. Okay, I am going to use bulk inserters. Like that. So there's our input line. And I think I'm going to send the ammo back along this belt. Okay. So what if I put this all the way at this end? That gives me the maximum ability to move things. Here's our output. And you are filtering down to just yellow ammo and rockets. These guys have to be conditional. On there being enough ammo . How much ammo is enough for the mobile factory? Rockets. Enable if the number of rockets is less than, so U stack to 100. I'm going to do 2 rows. And you guys stack to, let's see, 100. We're going to do 4 rows. Okay, now we currently have no inputs. Let's give water to these guys. So we should now be getting some output here. Total of 2 explosives per second. Is that enough? Yeah, that's enough. Now these guys are going to need molten stuff. So per second we need 220 molten per... Gosh. We are not going to have enough iron on this to support this. I can already tell. Hold the fort. That's the wrong one. Okay, so we would need more. What if I put in 2 speed and 2 productivity? Yeah, if I put 2 in like that, that at least gets us some productivity, which should help. We're a little over, so I could maybe change one of these into a deficiency module. Alt X, boom. Yeah, we're good. Okay, and these two need to have inputs, just like over here. And I am just going to run the molten iron all the way out like that. You know what? That's weak, because now it's the 2 sets of melters are going to be fighting over who gets the ore. I do need to have their fluids connected together. Heck. So you guys need 8.25 per second. You guys need another. So, 150, actually, I need to look on the left. 150 per second there, and 55 per second. That's 200 and something per second. And this is producing 93. So this is like half of what we need. What if I use this configuration here? That works. Now I just need to bring the iron down here. You know what I could do? I'm gonna start moving these around a bit. There we go. The downside is the iron is supposed to come in on the top of this guy, so yeah, we're going to be delivering our explosives on the bottom half, so this guy can bring the iron in this way. Which means this whole thing needs to be flipped. We are limiting our nuclear reactor at this point. That's okay. We have a finite amount of space on the platform. We knew we were going to get to a limit at some point. You are... Whoops. Your output. Let's mark these. You are output of rockets. Okay. You are output of piercing, no, not piercing, firearm magazines. You guys are all input of iron and only iron. And you are input of explosives. So these guys all turned around this way. That works. I'm going to use stack inserters for these guys and filter them for iron. I don't think the throughput warrants it, but it does mean that my belt will have a bit better capacity on it. So we'll have more iron on the belt waiting to be made into ammo, which is probably not a bad thing. Well, we need to make sure that these guys are only running when they need to. Are we getting ammunition in here? Oh, the ammunition's getting in here and it's immediately being sent right back out to go on the outside bus. Okay, that's good. This means that we are starting to set up ammo on these guys, and means these counters are going to start being non-zero from time to time. Do not know why you went blank there. That's weird. You are counting firearm magazines. A lot of these guys are blinking off. Hold on, what's our power look like? Power has spiked. Because these guys, yeah, okay, so we may need to be a little more, we're going to have to limit our production until we make more power, and we're not going to be making power any soon. We are going to put in another efficiency module here. Power. Let's just look over the last 10 minutes. So our peak is 47.5 megawatts. And we're just under it. Okay. Yep, we're over. Okay. You know what I'm thinking is I need to just discussed this. So this configuration needs 3.5 megawatts, and this one needs half a, yeah. I have to go with keep it within power over maximize our outputs. Because now that I look at it, these guys will fill up our stock very quickly. So as we're going from planet to planet, mostly we're going to be making ammo, and I believe we have enough here to keep the ammo going. Well, belief is one thing, observation is another thing. We are making ammo at peak rate because we need it in stock. Looks like we have stocked up missiles. Let's see, this says we have no missiles in stock. So this is the problem with here. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm going to send missiles to the left. I think missiles to the left. So these guys will be able to pick up full stacks. Missiles to the left and there. Okay. So that cleared the belt. Everything's waiting on iron plates. And iron plates are waiting on getting iron, which is waiting on this guy, which is waiting on actually seeing iron on the belt. We don't have the ability to take iron ore out of the hub because if we depend on that, we will fail if anybody empties the hub. So stock in the hub is essentially stock that we have already committed. Sorry. Coffee goes in the stomach, not the lungs. Okay, so we've got some green chips coming out. Good. Like I said earlier, Novice is not the place to be if you want to be producing a lot of stuff. We do have modest amounts of metallic asteroid chunks coming in, which means it's not too bad for the metals. But when I say modest, I mean really modest. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got now. We are, from before, we had our water going. So we now have coal synthesis in 2 labs making coal, which is then going to 4 labs that are making explosives. And those are going down here, and they are ingredients into our missile production. On the other side of the factory, we have melting iron ore and melting copper ore into molten iron and molten copper, which we are then fashioning into iron and copper plates and copper coils and steel. Some chunks of all of that are going back to be placed in the hub. Other bits are, well, more iron is going to ammunition production. These guys, speedy doesn't really matter at this point. Let's fix that. You are efficiency, nothing. Okay. So we're going to efficiency everything because we basically popped out the power. So, okay, we got the iron, some iron plate being made. We are not making as much iron plate as we can consume. Okay, we can sustain 15 per second of iron if we are just making this kind of ammo. So as long as we're not going to Aquilo, we can make more iron than we need for firearm magazines. If we're headed out to Aquilo, Oh, wait a minute. You guys need a total of 3.75 per second iron. You guys need a total of 30 per second. Okay, so yeah, if we are in the inner planets, we basically can keep half of these machines happy. Yeah, that's what I saw before when I was building, is I needed to double the production of that. I think we can't go any bigger, which means if we are shooting more than per minute, we're shooting more than about 225 bullets a minute on the anywhere, we're going to be running out. Missiles, however, require 225. We are producing well more than that. So if we're just producing missiles, we're good. Missiles should really be getting priority here, though. Unfortunately, I set this up so they were on the same input belt. Oh well. In any case, these will make until we have a good stock of them in the hub, and the hub will accept the stock and will immediately turn around and be placing it out onto the main belt until the main belt has enough quantity. And we can go much bigger than 100. How about 300 of each? And we're stacking it up. I think we can go much bigger than that. Let's make sure that nobody is discarding from the inner belt. Okay, we're not discarding any ammo, so we need to be careful about this. Let's go to 1,200 magazines and 600 missiles. There we go. So 1,200 and 600, but in stacks of 4. Okay, that's 300 and 150. That's 450 stacks. That'll fit. As long as at least half of our ammo is in stacks, we're okay. So there's our ammunition levels. We're picking up stacks to put in the guns, so yay. See, I still don't know what my actual capacity is here. And let's see. We're not going to have any ammunition in the hub for a long time. So, going back to what we're looking at here. We are producing iron to make ammo. We're also producing iron plate and copper plate, which get turned into copper cable and then green chips. And we are not using the copper cable that's being produced for export. Also, I'm not melting this directly into copper cable in the theory that if you start using production modules, well, this way it's about the same amount of resources. If I had production modules in here, then having the extra step gets us additional output per input. It would save us on copper ore. Since copper ore is the rare ore, well, the less common ore, that's good. We're also producing for export steel and iron plate and copper coils and copper plate. Yay! And what else? What else? We are producing fuel. Okay, so we've got the water coming in, being made, and we're saying if we have water, we're going to make fuel. Specifically, we're actually set up to start thinking about maybe making our fuel conditional on having enough water. Currently, we're saying we only provide water to the reactor if you've got at least 1,000 in the pipe, in the inventory. I could gate the thrust equivalently. What would be more important, maintaining thrust or maintaining power? Well, if we turn off the thrust, we still drift. So let's make our fuel production contingent upon... Oh, you're already set up with a green wire there. In fact, you are already set to do this. Why did I not set it up everywhere? Okay, so the right-hand engine was conditionalized to produce fuel only when there's enough water. The left wasn't. Now we're set. So if we have at least 4K water, we will be producing fuel. We will be producing ammunition if we have any water at all. That's not a bad thing. Although it's probably a better idea if we don't produce ammunition. If we can't produce power, I need to hold off on ammo. Well, if we have no ammo, we die. If we have no power, we die because we can't shoot, because we can't get ammo into the ammo guys. I think the power is possibly more important. So I am going to make production of coal contingent upon inventory of water. Enable if water, I'm going to say greater than 3,000. So that means as we increase the water, at 1,000 we'll start building power, at 3,000 we'll start making ammo, and at 4,000 we start making fuel. That kind of makes sense to me. Now, I could sit here and wait until everything is hunky-dory. I could sit here and wait until we have surprising amounts of ammo in the hub. We have 1,200 firearm magazines, so we should now be building up magazines in the hub, and we are. 432 missiles on the belt. Okay, why are we not making missiles? We are making missiles, but slowly. I think our missile situation is bad enough that I'm going to split the iron. Let's take all of this from here to here. I'm going to move you down one. Okay, so now, first of all, the iron is going to be coming in from here. And there's our outputs, like that. So half the iron goes each way. Fair split. Speed it up a bit, and now we're getting more missiles. Now, because missiles require only a small fraction of the iron that is used by firearm magazines, essentially, we will be prioritizing getting more missiles out. I don't object to that in any way. This will fill up our missile stock so that when we do make the trek out to Aquilo, we are likely to start with full missiles. Now let's look up here. Up to 600 missiles on the belt, and we're starting to accumulate missiles down below. Remember, 1,200, 600 is the split that we have been setting up for, and it looks like The outside of that belt is sufficiently populated that I don't want to go any higher. Are we ready to actually put this to the test? I am going to drop a save. No. Yeah, I'm a little scaredy cat here. I'm going to do a quick bit of housekeeping, and we're back. Basically, I dropped a save, and I thought, oh, I need to go check on Fulgora and make sure that my Holmium plate is back. It's not. Why did we not get our foundries? Why are we not getting our foundries in? Because this is import, not import direct. So I am going to switch to the import direct one. Okay, because we did add foundries to it. And Planet Express, I am going to redirect you to going back to Fulgora immediately. That's a 2-hop. Okay, let's wait for this to happen, because I will forget about this again if I don't wait right now. The Planet Express, the name is too long. I'm going to call you Plex. We are rushing with the foundries, which we got from Vulcanus. Which we have none of. God bless it. Okay, Vulcanus. We need to go back to Vulcanus and pick up foundries. Apparently we dropped all our foundries somewhere. Lights are kind of dim here. Pause thrust. Oh, I know what happened. I picked up some, and as I went through the list, I did the wrong thing. So I picked up some at Vulcanus and dropped them all at Gleba, and I had none left at Fulgora, so we're going to just go direct. We should be pulling up 60, but each of the planets is going to be wanting 100. Right. We are ready to go. I am going to go direct to Fulgora, and then we'll go back to normal trading. So that's one of the problems with having the stations requesting 5 loads, is they will drain from the ship whatever's on it. So these ships that make the multi-stop can end up dry before they get to wherever they're supposed to get things, and it won't stabilize until everybody basically has their 5 loads and is consuming less than a full load per trip. Hold on, what did we just do? Back to Fulgora. Stop. Just stop. Did you fill it in? You filled it in. Okay. So Plex can now continue onward. There. So back to Mobile Factory. I'm going to refresh that save really quick. Bam. And there's that Gleba that comes up sometimes. I don't know why. I don't know what that is alerting me about or what. It just sometimes comes up when I'm playing. Notice here that we are basically chewing up all of the asteroids that we can get because we are around Novice orbit. It is time for us to depart Novice orbit. I am going to add stations in what order? I do want to get to Aquilo and park there. How about Vulcanus, Gleba, Fulgora, Aquilo? And later on, we will make a circular route of it. We go through slow, but I want to... Actually, no, let's make the circular route. Vulcanus, Gleba, Aquilo, Fulgora. Add station Vulcanus, Gleba, Aquilo, Fulgora. Okay. So at each stage, I want to wait for my green check signal. I don't have a green check signal on this platform, do I? I need to set up a green check. So, decider combinator. I'm going to do all of this based on my inventory. So we're going to go from here to input to his output. So under certain circumstances, you will be sending out a green check. But all these conditions have to be true. Before we depart, we must have enough fuel. Now it caps out at 50K. That could be 25K in one tank and 0K. No, 25K could be 25K in one tank and 0 in the other. So I'm going to say I have to have at least 40K fuel before we leave. So that would mean maybe one tank is 25K and one tank is 15. They should be level, but if they aren't, this will mean we have enough to go. You are also oxidizer. At 40K. I want to wait until we have firearm magazines in the hub. I'm going to wait until we have at least 1,500 of those in the hub. And I'm going to wait until we have firearm rockets in the hub. And let's wait for 600 in the hub. No, 500. Actually, let's do 500 and 1,200. 4 and 12? Yeah, 4. So if we have 1,200 ammo and 400 rockets, we're good to go. Now the rocket production condition is up through almost 2,000, and these guys are doing up through there, so we can get a whole lot of these going. So that's kind of the bare minimum. If all those are true, we are going to turn out our check mark. So these guys, they all had weight condition, circuit condition, check mark is greater than 0. And all requests satisfied, and say 30 seconds, let's do, 30 seconds of that. So that's I wish I could just copy paste those. Oh, and at the end of this, we're doing Vulcanus, Gleba, Aquilo, Fulgora, back to Novice. All requests satisfied. Inactivity. I'm going to pause this until I've got this filled in. This is copy paste, copy paste. Don't worry about it. I'll be right back. Okay, basic copy paste is done. So basically, we're here at Novice. We are basically ready to go. We're going to, at each station, we're going to wait for the check mark, and we're going to wait until all requests have been satisfied in case we're requesting anything here. This platform really doesn't have requests, and we're going to wait for 30 seconds as the base requests stuff from us. We'll be sending it down, and we'll give it 30 seconds or so to decide whether it wants more stuff. And once that's done, we'll head on to the next place. And all of these should be the same. So 30 seconds of inactivity, all requests satisfied, check mark greater than 0. I'm going to hit the novice button first. And we're just going to watch as we head out to the wild blue yonder. Oh, and the other thing is I'm going to need to prime the engines once we get underway. So he's going to want to go somewhere. We can't go anywhere because we have nothing in the engine. So let's go hit the engine primer. We only need to do this once for each platform. So on, off. Let's take a look at what he's doing. He's burning about almost 60 fuel per second, which is what I figured we were going to do. So that's total of, oh, wait a minute, I think that's more fuel than I budgeted. Hold on. Okay, we're producing 300 per second, that's fine. So burning 60 per second in each engine. We have ramped up our speed to 80 kilometers per second, which is actually a lot faster than I thought I was going to move this guy. I could reduce his fuel. We are currently running fuel efficiency of 76%. Let's reduce our speed by reducing our fuel. Hold on. What is going on here? We should be 60 per second across the entire set. Why are we getting 4 times that? Almost like these guys are going flat out. Did I leave my star on? I left my star off, didn't I? Yes, I did. So you are 1 pulsing to 2. You're pulsing on and off properly. Numerator is 60. Denominator is 1,200. This takes the denominator and outputs an n, which is negative of the denominator. This is our integrator. We should be incrementing by the numerator each time, and I see we are incrementing by 20 each time, it looks like. Oh, no, that's... should be incremented by 60 each time. Is that right? That should be about right. Oh, right. I've got 4 pumps going. So each... yeah. So the problem is I'm doing 60 per second to each engine because that's what that 60 there is doing. So we've got 4 pumps pumping fuel at 60 per second each. So if I wanted to cut this, I would just cut this here. This is the number of, this is the rate per. So let's roll this down to 30. So at a fuel rate of 30 per second, we should be slowing down, and our fuel efficiency should be going up. That's what I really want, is I'm looking for the fuel efficiency. Now, as we scoop up stuff, we should be seeing better quantities on our outside bus, which is here. We're stopped at Vulcanus. Vulcanus is expecting nothing from us. We are expecting nothing from Vulcanus. Give us 30 seconds and we will move on. And I don't think I've really looked at our UPS since we deleted the obsolete platforms. But we're running about 250 to 300 UPS maximum. That's not too bad. Truth to be told, I could probably eliminate the Science Expresses with a single ship that basically says, if we run out of a certain kind of science, go get it and bring it back. And that platform would just say, you know, wait at novice, wait at novice, wait at novice. And as long as it could go get science and bring it back before somebody else depleted the science at novice for other things, we'd be good. We could probably unify our Science Expresses. We could replace our Calcite Express with a single Calcite Express platform. Gleba wants nothing from us. We want nothing from Gleba. And the next leg is our transit to Aquilo. I am going to please ask this to wait at Aquilo indefinitely. I want to see how this performs in orbit around Aquilo. Oh, and we no longer need any of the solar. There we go. Show me stuff being done. Okay, now this guy, do we really have no iron ore on this belt at all? It's possible that we are using up all of our iron ore as soon as it comes in. Yeah, see, this arm is waiting for another bit of iron. It is possible that circum Aquila, we don't have a lot of iron. That could be why you don't park over Aquila for a long time. I'm seeing oxide, I'm seeing carbonic. Okay, so you don't park over Aquilo. Oh, there's medium metallic coming in. Okay. Because the mix of asteroids doesn't have a lot of iron, which means you're going to have problems with ammo. Carbonic, metallic. Okay, now we're getting some metallic in. Yeah, see, we can even see here. Oh, we should be, hold on, we should be recycling stuff into a metallic. Let's check our recyclers. Yep, this has got the bug on it. Okay, so here's the problem. The logic is correct. If anything is high and anything else is low, then we want to recycle that thing. If we have input count, that's going to output a 0. We need to be count 1. Ditto here. These guys weren't saved. There we go. We were recycling the metallics because we were over novice, but we didn't notice it on the other ones. So now we should be getting some metallic by recycling the other guys. So let's speed it up some. And we should see metallic chunks fighting their way up. there'll be a balance here because we're going to be producing more of them, and we're also going to be starting to crush them. Now, at this point, we should be trying to do normal crushing of the metallic asteroid, because we have enough copper. Oh, boy, moi. This is saying if we have enough copper and not enough iron, we're recycling. This was set to the wrong recipe. Well, that's why. Once we had enough copper, we weren't crushing any metallic asteroids at all to iron. Ho ho! Bug fixed. Let's double check these. These are set to normal, advanced and normal. Advanced and normal, okay. We're good. Double check all of these. Okay, so our crushers are now properly configured. And see, we're suddenly getting a lot of iron in. Yay! And notice we just dumped a bunch of ore out there because we hit our limit on the iron ore. That's fine. Dumping stuff is okay because it means we got enough. And it's decided that we were done at Aquilo. Oh, I decided we were done at Gleba. All that time we were at Gleba. Apparently it's a 2-hop trip to get to Aquilo. Okay, well that explains it. I expected to see much more. So apparently when I said go to Aquilo, it didn't go all the way to Aquilo properly. Oh, and this is now done. You are... Oh, wait a minute. You are done. We did coal and explosives and rockets and firearm magazines. I should have checked those off the to-do list as we were doing them. I was going to make a to-do list for each item I wanted to build, but I guess I just swung right into building it. Now we're going to Aquilo. Gotta watch where you are over here before you start making pronouncements like, oh, gee, in Aquilo there's no metal. Okay. Around wherever we were, Gleba, we had a little less metal, and we had bugs in our crushers. There we go. So now you see that we're using our rockets to carve up these guys. That is working nicely. Now, I said earlier that I was going to put in some rare grabbers and some rare turrets and some rare rocket turrets. Looking at how far out those are when we are taking care of them, I don't think I need them. I think we're going to be doing just fine. Okay, Aquilo. We're going to wait forever on Aquilo, so I can make sure that we are handling everything properly. Okay, there we go. Checking our quantities. Does anything look odd? One reason why I like to have all the numbers up here. You notice that I found the bugs because I glanced at the numbers, and it's like, oh, that's weird. So notice here, again, metallic is low. Carbonic, lots of oxide. Let's see, Factoriopedia, information about Aquilo. So this doesn't tell us how many of the asteroids there are, but if I look at the transit from Fulgora to Aquilo, this shows us that leaving Fulgora, basically medium carbonic and metallic asteroids peak here, and they go down. And then we've got mostly oxide in transit. And out here we've got big oxide. Everybody else, so we're mostly oxide asteroids. And everybody else is small. So we will be mostly grabbing oxide and turning it into other things. That's okay. There's enough of it out there. I think we're good. So, what do I want to do now? I think I'm going to rework, excuse me, one of my ships here, Able 3. I want to obsolete these Science Expresses. And I want to add the Science Express for Aquilo to it. So that's what you are going to do. You have been sitting here idling your engines for a long time. You've got full water and everything else. We can take away your solar power now. Okay. This is just a matter of scheduling. So this is going to say wait at novice with all of these until all of these are true, and inactivity 30 seconds. Okay. Okay, now we are going to do a couple of things. First of all, you do not need to have a nuclear reload that goes back to novice, because you are going to go back to novice no matter what you do. What I am going to do is I'm going to do a science reload for each science. And what I'm going to set that for is I'm going to put in the planet and the kind of science we get from there, so we can see at a glance that we've done the right thing, if we've done the right thing, or we can see at a glance we've done the wrong thing. And on Vulcanus, we have metallurgic science packs, right? Is that correct? Okay, so this is a Vulcanus metallurgic science refill. We add interrupt condition, item count. So if metallurgic science on board is equal to 0, then we want to go to Vulcanus and wait for all requests satisfied. Add section. All science. Oh, I already have an all science. I am going to do this with a multiplier of 2. So we're going to pick up 2,000 of each, which is... Oh, let's not... Oh. Undo. Okay, just undo the removal of space platform. That's fine. So we really don't want all science. We need to put all science back the way it was. I need to rename this to Far Science. Far Science is going to be like that. I'm going to pick up 2,000 at each planet when I get there. And that is metallurgic science from Vulcanus, and agricultural from Gleba, and electromagnetic from Fulgora, and cryogenic science from Aquilo, and promethium science is not on my plate right now. I need to leave it off of here. Actually, let's put it on, but let's put it at a 0, like that. This says it imports from Kilo. Interesting. So now we have a cross-check. So, metallurgic science is indeed Vulcanus. Gleba for agricultural. So we do Gleba and agricultural science. Your condition is item count 0 of ag science. Target is Gleba. And weight condition is all requests satisfied. Okay, next is electromagnetic science packs from Fulgora. Come on. Electromagnetic science packs. Interrupt condition is circuit, no, not circuit condition, item count, cargo. If we have no electromagnetic science, then we go to Fulgora and wait for all requests satisfied. I think I messed you up. Yes, I did. Equals 0. Do I want to wait for inactivity here? I'm going to wait for 5 seconds of inactivity on each of my interrupts. Okay. Next is cryoscience from Aquilo. So a question in my mind is, what if all of these trigger at once, which they're going to do when we start this guy up? That's going to be interesting to see. So this is Aquilo. And the science is cryoscience. Refill. Item count. Cryogenic science is equal to 0. And what we do is we go to Aquilo, wait for all requests satisfied and activity. We got all those interrupts. Actually, I do want to have a nuclear reload in here, and I am going to turn on the allow interrupting. So if we have all of these set, and then we're most of the way out to one of them, and we need to reload, we'll come back. There we go. And you are going to pick up 100 uranium cells on Novice whenever you're there, and 100 repair packs whenever you're there. And you have plenty of rockets and firearm magazines ready to go. And this is going to be all fire science. You're ready to go, aren't you? I'm going to tell you to go. And you have plenty of fuel because you're using the old style of thrusters where we are always running at a little bit of fuel trickle into them no matter what. Let's take a look at what your schedule does when you hit your 30 seconds. We should get all 4 of those triggering, although it's going to pick one. Okay, so it's going to go to Vulcanus first. I am going to watch this through a cycle. It should be quick. The only longer trip is going to be out to Aquilo. Okay, so we wait here until we get our rocket worth of science. On the way. So basically this is doing one launch. Notice how fast it's refilling. Why does it take so long for it to get to us? Okay, temporary Gleba. Now, it's possible we'll pick up science from Gleba, and then we'll wander out to the other planets. Oh, Gleba doesn't produce enough science for this to work. Let me make sure Gleba's got 2,000 science in stock. So Gleba has run, by the way, Gleba has run completely out of stone. What is it making? Well, obviously is making nutrients and spoilage, and these guys and these guys. We are exporting bioflux, and we are exporting science, and we're building it at 180 per minute. In our conditions, these are not conditionalized. We are just building it and building it and building it. Where is it going? It's going out to here. It is getting picked up. It should be brought to somewhere central. I believe I had my buffer chest near the rocket launch area. Gosh, it's been a long time since I've been out here. Okay, here's the science stuff. Now this is saying we are requesting in 8K science. These are saying if we have more than 2.2K, we're dumping it. So why did we have so little? I am not sure why suddenly we didn't have any science on Gleba to send up. As the science decayed, if it did, which it shouldn't have, we should have made more. Unless we just delivered it to Science Express. Oh, Science Express is still in orbit and he's still waiting for more. I'm going to be decommissioning you. Adding condition there. Send you back to Novice. Okay, you actually managed to get a load of science. So it must be that you got your pickup just before I got there. Okay, that would make sense. So you're going to deliver that load and I'm going to decommission you. You are also going to be delivering your load and getting decommissioned. So Novice, you're actually ready to go. I'm going to decommission all at once. Circuit condition. So you and you and you are all going to get decommissioned at some point. We'll send you down. We'll send you down. I can decommission these right now, actually. If I start carving this off, I can send all this stuff down. There we go. We are all peeled apart. Let's kill off the rest of it. And you go away. Yay. Delete science platform. This is called Faith. Okay. You. You also. Schedule goes away. And we unbuild. I can just do this and it will not unbuild cargo bays until they're empty. You are all done. Boom, delete space platform. The more platforms we delete, the easier it is for us to do our real work. The better UPS comes up. Mark everybody for deletion. Okay, everybody is done. Boom, delete space platform. So we are down to our original orbital, which stays in orbit around Novice. We have Far Science, which is going to be going around and around and around, picking up stuff. You are sitting here waiting for cryo. You have no science packs here. Okay, you're capable. What I need to do, though, is to disable you. So the easy way to do that is to set this to less than 0. Save interrupt. And now you're going to head back to Novice. So we will never go back to Aquilo until we change this interrupt. Okay. Mobile Factory is around Aquilo and doesn't need to stay there. I will be requesting stuff down from him, I think. We may have reached a point on Aquilo where we don't need it. This would have come in so handy. Imagine arriving on Aquilo on day 1 and having all of these resources available to you just on request. So, iron ore, copper ore, iron plate, copper plate, steel plate, coils, green chips, all of this just where you want them. The downside would be you still need your nuclear, okay. Nuclear couriers. We can unify the nuclear couriers, can't we? I could have the couriers park around Novice, picking up, making sure that they have enough nuclear power. How would they know when to go deliver? We still would need a courier for each destination, which would go pick up more from Novice when the destination needed some. Hold on. Can I do an interrupt for this? Add interrupt. Nuke demanded. Let's do a thingy for, say, Aquilo nuclear demanded. I don't know if I can do this or not. Let's see what options we have. So the interrupt condition will be some planet. Any planet import. What does that mean? Hold on. Let me bring up a browser and find out what that any planet import 0 is. It allows us to select a planet. Factorio any planet import 0. For all requests on the platform that are set to import from the chosen planet, if the item in any of these requests is absent, the condition is true. So this would be if we have something we want and we want it from Aquilo and we don't have any, we go to Aquilo. So that's not going to help us with what we're doing here. We're looking for conditions that allow us to look at a remote planet. Circuit condition, damage taken, passenger request not satisfied of a filter. Okay, so we don't have the capability of doing this. So nuclear demanded is not something we can do. So for each planet that wants to import nuclear fuel, we still need a courier. So we're going to keep that courier. We're going to keep that courier. We're going to keep transit. Are we? What is transit doing? So transit is doing imports to Aquilo. But that's going to be handled by Plex. Transit's obsolete. I'm going to decommission him above Aquilo. Add weight condition. A circuit condition. So between Plex and Mobile Factory, we should be keeping Aquilo supplied. We are stopped at Aquilo. X1. Boom, boom, boom. We are decommissioning you. How fast can I decommission? Okay, apparently the planet is full up. Oh boy, we're going to lose some stuff. That's all right. No, we're not. I'm not sure what we're going to do with some of this stuff, but it's going to be there. And you go away as soon as you have done launching everything. There we go. So Far Science gets science from everybody. Mobile Factory delivers raw goods at a low rate. Plex is our planetary express, which runs cargo all over the place and doesn't have nearly enough. We may need to redesign Plex at some point. We have the express, which delivers bioflux specifically. We have the express for calcite, and we have the express for calcite for the two guys that need calcite. I think our calcite orders are going to be handled by Plex now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decommission these guys. You are going to go away. So all of our calcite is going to come from Mobile Factory now. If that's not enough, we will build a new platform that just exists to do that. Oh, come on. Oh, right. I do need to have all this stuff sent down, don't I? And you are done. Delete space platform. And the Calcite Gleba Express. Ditto. Mark everybody for deletion. Start sending things down like crazy. Of course, this means that planets are going to have stocks of things like Firearm magazines that they don't really need. It's okay. You go away. Delete space platform. So, turning it down. We have Science Orbital. Do I want to make the space science on the Mobile Factory? That would be so easy. Space platform Aquilo transit was destroyed by big oxide asteroid while in orbit around Aquilo. Well, I actually deleted him, didn't I? I thought I did. I guess a asteroid got in the last hit on him. So, what do we got? We got this guy. I could totally do space science packs on Mobile Factory. Actually, not a bad idea. You just require iron plate and ice. Well, shoot, we've got iron plate and ice available in this area. So we put ice like that. Let's use assembly machine 3s. So you've got your carbon and your ice. You'll need to get your iron plate from up there. And then you'll have output. Oh, wait a minute. What are our input rates? Our input rates are still really low. So we can go here. Okay, and let's see, long-handled inserters. We're going to go carbon and ice like that. We are going to go output. I am just going to share my ammo belt, so this ammo belt also has white science on it. You're fine. Actually, let's swap those. Firearm magazines on the left. And you also will move white science. So rockets on the far lane, white science on the far lane, we're good. Now these need to be conditional. And they're going to be conditional on the amount of white science in the area in the middle is 3950. So, ton of it. Now you still need iron. I haven't put that down yet. There's your iron. So whenever you get back to Novice, you'll be sending down whatever space science they want at Novice. This does mean that I need to let you go. And it also means this orbital, you have done really great work. You are a really great platform. You were really the best, actually. But you are done. Because I need to recover the UPS. Okay, so we have far science, which is imports from science from other planets. You are currently over Gleba waiting for Gleba to send you 2,000. I think I need to do 1,000 at a time from now on. Some of these guys can do 2,000. What is your minimum payload? Rocket capacity 1,000. Okay. Let's set to 2,000 for the rest of these because they are all producing fast. So metallurgic and electromagnetic will pick up loads of 2,000, and there will pick up 1,000. And you are going to wait in orbit around Novice until you drop a bunch of science. And you dropped a bunch of Gleba science. You know, you're going back to Gleba to get another 1,000 science. This is fine. Gleba science is likely to be doing this to us because Gleba science will decay over time, even when we're not doing science. We are likely to be making a lot of trips to Gleba. Yeah, because Gleba is going to be requesting, well, we're going to be requesting a lot of Gleba science here that's going to be decaying. Currently, we want 5,000 Gleba science locally. That's probably not what we want. I am going to change this to novice science stock. So I'm going to want 5,000 space science and 10,000 of each one of these guys. Yep, even you. Oh, wait a minute. No, let's make it 1,000. 1,000 of the ones we're not really making yet. And none of this guy that we're not making at all. Well, actually, no. Let's set this to 1,000. What do we know about this guy? Promethium science packs are made from biter eggs, quantum processors, and promethium asteroid chunks. Promethium asteroid chunks do not stack, which means putting them in boxes is really, really, really ugly. One box holds 48 of them, which means we can make 20 Promethium science packs from a complete box. But we don't have boxes. So basically this means that Promethium you want to store on a belt, or you want to process it on the processor, which means you need to send biter eggs out on the platform, which means that after 30 minutes, your platform is going to be swarmed with big biters, which means you need to stop at Novice, pick up biter eggs, swoop out to go get Promethium, and come all the way back to get fresh biter eggs. That's going to be interesting. Oh, and you need to make them in cryoplants. I think the thing here is to have cryoplants on Novice making this so we can use local biter eggs, and this just means that we need to get quantum processors and Promethium asteroids to Novice. We don't know how to make either one of those. Quantum processors are a future thing, but it's not too far in the future. We're almost there. I could research it at this point, but we can't get Promethium until we start going out further. Okay, so our science is ready to go. Let's actually start doing some science so we can check this. Of all of this science, what do I want next? Let's start thinking about quality. Let's do epic and legendary quality, so I can start considering that. Let's knock off these guys so they're not on our list. Spidertrons are going to be interesting to have. Foundations. Oh, foundation. Let's do foundation first. That allows me to lava, oil ocean, and most water. Woohoo! Yeah, it means more better places I can put things in. Question is, how do you make it? You make it with stone, tungsten plate, carbon fiber, lithium plate, and fluoroketone. Looks like a Aquilo production, which imports carbon fiber and tungsten plate and stone. Oh. I'm going to have to figure out the best way to get those imported, because I don't think I can export fluoroketone from Aquilo. Anyway, we're going to commit to it. Let's commit to doing quantum processors, and that'll be enough to get us actually doing science now. It is also possible that the mobile factory is going to spend all of its time going to and from Gleba. Yep. Okay, well, we're going to need to go out to Gleba a bunch of times. So if we are carrying the mobile science, what does it decay to? It spoils to spoilage. That's fine. As long as it doesn't spoil to something that's going to, you know, like a biter or a pentapod. We're on Gleba. We're waiting. Okay, Gleba is producing. That's good. On Novice, how are we doing? We are still requesting in almost 2,000 science packs. So Foundation, oh, this requires cryo packs. Let's wait until we actually have cryo packs being exported to do that. Simple stuff first, simple stuff first. Then stuff that doesn't require cryo packs. There we go. Hey, we can plant trees. Who cares? Tool belt. Oh, fish breeding. Let's do fish breeding just for fun. Why not? So we still want to import cryo plants and cryo science packs, which means that we need to go back out to Aquilo and build some rocket areas, and I'll have to figure out what I need to. I think the blue chips. Epic quality. Okay, back to Aquilo. So rocket silos up in this area somewhere, I think. Requesting in. We know how to make rocket fuel here. We can probably set up a rocket fuel plant that works in great quantities. I could bring down iron and copper ore and turn them into molten iron and molten copper, and I can use that to make all sorts of things. So let's start off with that. So add section. This is going to be Aquilo. SF mats. So what are we hauling down from Aquilo Space Factory? I'm going to bring down a rocket load of iron ore. I'm going to bring down a rocket load of copper. And I'm going to bring down a rocket load of calcite. Actually, hold on. Rather than doing the melting here, we do know that we are efficiently producing iron plate and copper cable and electronic circuits. So if I'm going to be producing blue chips, I'm going to be needing red and sulfur. Okay. We're going to be needing to make local plastic. We're going to need green chips. Going to need copper coils. Okay, so got the green chips. Red chips are going to be copper coils and green chips. We've got that. And plastic. We can make the plastic locally. We're going to have to. That's a petroleum product. Good God, how do we make plastic on this place? We'll find out. And processing units are going to be sulfuric acid, which is sulfur. Okay. We do have all this oil. What am I thinking? I completely forgot we had oil. We've got oil. We'll be able to make the plastic. So that covers that. The other thing I want to make is LDS. What goes into LDS? Come on, I had it here. Copper plate, steel plate, and plastic bar. So if we get copper and steel down in quantity, we're good. So copper plate. And let's maintain some stocks of copper and steel. So now we just need a whole bunch of plastic to make this work. Plastic and plastic and plastic. And sulfuric acid. So to-do list. Add new. Plastic. Add new. Okay, once we've got plastic and sulfuric acid, we need red chips. Blue chips. And LDS. Rocket fuel and we need to produce some rocket silos. Wish I could drag these up and down, but it's an add-on that doesn't have drag. It's okay. We can move it up and down with these easy enough. That's not a now thing. We'll chip away at that. But back to looking at this. We've got far science, which is no doubt going to go back and forth to Gleba over and over and over again. Hopefully the rest of these will get their chance to do something. I'm going to move him up there. Yeah, we're just kind of going back and forth to Gleba, aren't we? It's going to be painful if I don't make it out to get the electromagnetic science packs. Let's see if we ever get out to do electromagnetic science packs. We should be triggering each one of these that needs to go. Oh, it's not going to trigger until this gets to 0, right? So we're not going to go out to get electromagnetic science packs until we actually need it. Epic quality is researched in another 8 minutes. It's currently moving at 280 a minute. That's not bad. Now, we have gone to biolabs, which means we're stretching our science packs by double. Yeah, we're just making the round trip to Gleba here. I may want to pick up more at Gleba when I get there. Although we're picking it up as fast as it's laying it down. I'm going to try increasing my Gleba quantity to 2,000. And to be fair, let's put you at 2,000 as well. Do, do, do. So this is not bad. I don't mind waiting in orbit above Gleba, because if we're waiting in orbit for stuff to be sent to us, that means that our science that we're getting from Gleba is as fresh as it can be. It does mean that the first 1,000 science is going to age while we make the second 1,000. But these are 1 hour spoil time. So I'm thinking that our spoilage here well, what we pick up here will have been built earlier. So it'll be the last 1,000 built before we arrive. Okay. And then we get the next 1,000. So when we leave, we have 2,000, which is as fresh as it can be and still be 2,000 at our current production rate. What I really want is for us to not be going back to Gleba all the time. I want to get ahead of what's going on, which means we do need to be delivering it faster than it expires. So I think the 2,000 is going to be the good one. And we deliver all 2,000. Hey, novice, how much did you want? You're still looking for another 2,000. Holy Toledo. Okay, so yeah, it's quite possible that Far Science is mainly going to be moving stuff for Gleba and occasionally going and getting stuff from somewhere else. See, notice our, let's see, we want to look at consumption of science. Consumption of Gleba science specifically. You go away. Yeah, see, okay, so what went to 0 was production science. We stopped producing. Oh, we're going to stop consuming everybody. I don't know which one's going to be emptied here. It's probably going to be ag science. Global statistics. There we go. So here's global statistics on all of the sciences. Agriculture, we are just steadily making agricultural science at 180 per minute. It's too bad I don't have a graph of what my stock levels are. But we can look over here and we can see, what are we short? Who's Foundation waiting for? Oh, okay, so at this point, science is now waiting for blue stuff. Let's turn off all the science that needs blue and see what we can do that doesn't require blue until we're ready to unleash Aquilo. I don't want to bother with that, really. Overall character health, I'm not having any problems with health at all. Rocket part productivity. Ooh, that uses blue, though. So no blue. Do I want to start working on artillery? I don't think so. Let's make our rocket production more efficient. So rocket 1, rocket 2, rocket 3, rocket fuel 3, rocket 4, rocket fuel for rocket 5. Okay, there we go. Except these also need blue. Damn it. Plastic bar productivity we can do. And rocket fuel we can do. Oh, we can do rocket fuel and plastic bars. And asteroid productivity, that's not a bad thing. We could just focus on asteroid productivity completely, couldn't we? That wouldn't be a bad thing. Asteroid productivity, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're just going to go for asteroid productivity, which is going to mean that our space factory will be getting more and more resources. Yo, Fire Science, are you still just basically pimping out for Gleba? Okay, we have downloaded all the science from Gleba. I'm going to force you back to Gleba. Now we should also be going to get electromagnetic science, because I don't have any. And it should put this interrupt in after Gleba. What I really want to do is I want to do Gleba last. I wonder if this is in order. Okay. Come on, Gleba. On the way, 1. I think once we have this, it's coming up on 3 hours. I think I'm going to call the recording here because now basically we're just watching what's happening with the space platform. I will make note of any conclusions I have on priorities of interrupts in the future. Once I've worked out whether it does or not, I will see you in the next recording.